What else you got for me?
What else have I got for you? So, what does a normal day of running ATHLETESIA actually look like?
Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's a normal day. I actually don't think there's a normal day. It can shift and change all of the time. And so Mondays are the days where I kind of view it as, you know, Sunday night I'm setting myself up. Mondays it's where I'm like, okay, right, let's hone in and focus for the week, like mapping things out and stuff. But it can vary and it really depends what's happening. Like say, for example, there was a couple of weeks where I was working with my manufacturers in China, and literally as soon as I got online, it was boom, 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 like communicating with them, because probably around 11:30 the latest is when it's like the communication's going to be cut off, depending on what time they choose to finish. And so it's being locked into that. So I would say it just varies all the time. But, you know, I plan and map out my days and in terms of, you know, my 5 principles that I have. And that's how I look at things. So it's very much a case of, right, I want to be connecting in the morning. I want to be prioritizing. I want to be able to, you know, commit with what I'm working on. I want to, you know, be able to release. And I also want to be able to, why can I not remember? Prioritize, commit, complete, release. Yeah, so I think I said it actually. Connect, prioritize, commit, complete, and release. And I also said that that doesn't necessarily have to go in that cycle, because I may also be connecting at the end of the day too. But one of the things that I've committed to, and I'm so disciplined about, is my day starts the same. So my day, I won't go into all of the details, but I'll get out of my bed, do what I need to do. And then I'll go in my front room and I will sit in my green chair. And that's where I'm going through the Bible app. And then I will read my book that I'm reading for 10 minutes, because I think reading for me in the morning is better. I find that I read better in the morning because it's like I'm fresh. When I choose to read in the evening, I can tell by the number of pages that I'm reading that I'm just tired and I'm not in it. And so connecting with God in the morning, number one priority, and I had to become disciplined with that. Then it's reading my book, and then I might choose to meditate for like 10 minutes, but if I don't do it then, I'll do it at the end of the day. But I would say those two are like the constant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very impressive, actually, to have that. It sounds really silly as somebody is self-employed, but to have that time in the morning to read. It sounds so silly.
But do you know what? It's not, because I think before what I was doing is and it got to a point, the reason I had to get back on track, this is the thing, I fell off. And so I was getting to the point where I was waking up and I was like, damn, this email's come through, I've got to go to this email. And it was like, Danielle, this is not healthy for me. I don't want to start my day like that. I want to start my day slow and with ease, because I'm always, like my friend said to me the other day, she said, you're always on a mission. I'm known as that person who's always on a mission. When I go to Third Space and one of the girls was like, you know, yeah, you go ahead of me because you look like you're in more of a rush. And I'm like, it was within that moment, Danielle, slow down, like slow down, you know, everything is going to get done. And so I start my day slow to set myself off on the right foot. And so those 10 minutes of reading are important to me. And so I make time for that. So, yeah.
You've spoken about this before, and it really made me consider something of how I act, but the idea of us needing to rush everywhere.
Yeah.
When you're not even in a rush. And you're like, why am I rushing? Or why am I trying to do something I can't control? This morning, for example, got hit with traffic, and I was there like, I'll just speed. And I was like, and then not get there safely? I was like, why am I rushing? There's a car in front of me. It's going to drive that same speed. It doesn't matter how fast I go. I'm not going to get there any faster. So it's funny when we think about rushing. I think naturally we're always made to feel like we need to fit as much into our day as possible and as much into our time as possible. And so my question is, with your 5 principles, you've said no day for you is the same. You said that each day is different. How do you manage having these 5 principles and being a super organized person with days that can feel quite random sometimes and things can change?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I guess where I said every day is different, and you know there is no normal, but I would say the constant within that is those 5 principles. That makes sense. It's the 5 principles that are the foundation of the day. But I think probably it's having grace for myself, I would say, because it's also knowing that whilst I have complete, and I've said this before in a video, complete might be completing it to the best of my ability today and picking it up tomorrow. And it's having that grace for that, because one of the things that I would say I find challenging as a completer finisher is wanting to complete it today, tonight. And that's not always healthy. And so I'll give you an example. My brain races a lot because there's so many ideas and so many things going on. So I now have this thing where I place my phone in a certain place in my bedroom and I don't go back to it until I wake up. And so that's really helping. But there was one night and I couldn't sleep. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm actually just going to get out of my bed and go and work. And this was at 2 something in the morning. And I'd done it because I thought, I'm not ready to go to sleep yet because my brain has so much going on. And I know there are different tactics and stuff that you can use to go to sleep. I use breath work and stuff like that. But within that moment, I was like, that's not working.
No.
And so I got up, I worked, I got out what I needed to, and then I was ready to go to bed and I slept. You know, so this is what I mean as well. It's shifting and changing according to what your mind and your body is telling you. But then I am also, you know, big on ensuring that I am getting enough sleep because sleep is so, so important. And at one point I wasn't. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah. No, where did these principles come from?
Do you know what? It was reflecting on literally how I operate. That's all it was. It was reflecting on how I operate and being able to put it together and being like, that's what it is. And that's what it looks like each day. And the release part is being able to say, okay, cool, this happened, you know, this is what I'm grateful for happening today, whatever the case may be, and just setting that aside. But with the example that I just gave, it's also having the grace to know, giving yourself the grace and space to be like, sometimes that's not always going to be the case, and that's okay. And what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that whilst I operate in a certain way, sometimes it doesn't always look like that. Sometimes it is different, and it is okay for it to look different. And so I want people to understand that as well, because it's important. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think it's really important for people to know that.
Yeah.
Really, really, like, yes.
Yeah. I'm not like this, you know, perfect human being. Like, I'm really, really not.
Although you feel like pretty close, Danielle.
No.
Very, very, very organised.